Hi, my name is Bill Peterson. I was an airline pilot for 38 years, and I'm here today to help answer some questions that we commonly get when we're around the School of Thrust. Getting a college degree is one of the most often asked question I get, actually, from young adults coming through here. And my belief is a college degree is very important. However, if you want to work for the airlines, it's more important to get your licenses done and your time building and to get your 1,500 hours for your ATP. And the best way to do that is to go to a school like Thrust, where they will, it's a zero to airline program that works fairly fast, well trained, and by the time you're done, you're ready to go to one of the CFIs or a job like that to build your 1,500 hours. Once you finish your training, if you want a college degree or you feel like you need it, do it on nights or when you get to the airlines, go to the full-time school or whatever you want to do. But to get to the airlines, it's not really required anymore. They may look at it, but it's not the defining factor. In fact, most of the airlines have recently posted on websites or on the applications that a college degree is no longer needed to apply. In fact, when I got hired in 1987, I had quite a few friends that never finished or went to college and got jobs, but everybody always thought you had to have it. Experience is what you need in order to get hired by the airlines. Other certificates are fun to get. Let's talk about the tail dragger, the seaplane rating, all those kind of things. They're fun to get. And they'll help you build hours, but at what cost? If you go spend $3,000 for a seaplane rating, you could have spent that $3,000 towards training that will build your hours faster. Now, it will still build your hours, but $3,000 of seaplane training, for instance, you're not going to get the same amount of hours as if you just went out and rented a plane. So I think they're fun. I think they're good. Get them if you can use them, but they're not going to help you get to the airlines any faster. So in order to become a check airman at the airlines, or at least my airline, you had to have 500 hours of captain's time. For some reason, the airline thought that I was pretty good at what I did, so they asked me to become a check airman. You can apply for it at most of the airlines, but you have to eventually be asked to do it. I like to do it because I enjoy passing my craft on to others and training others and getting the feedback from them. And it's rewarding to do. So that it's kind of a specialty thing where you're asked to do it. You don't just go in and say, I want to do it, and they're going to give it to you. I think it's a good experience for the right person. Not everybody does it for the right reasons. To be a check airman is to be someone that's going to train people. They're going to mentor people. They're going to give them check rides over and over again. And if you're not that type of person that likes to teach, it's a teaching job too, and a lot of people try to do it just for the money because there is a little extra money in it. That's the wrong reason. It's got to do it because you love the job and you want to pass that knowledge on to somebody else. Yeah, the airplanes I flew, was mostly wide-body airplanes. I'm old. I started on the 727 as an engineer, and just real quickly, I flew the 727 DC-10, MD-11, Airbus 300, our old Airbuses, 757, 767, and 777. The reason that's not a lot for some people, but the reason I did it is at the airline I was at, the bigger the airplane, the more money you made. And I had a little baby back then, and I needed to buy diapers, to be honest with you. So I decided I better start moving up and flying bigger airplanes. But the other advantage is you get to fly better places. You can fly a small airplane, a regional airplane or one of the smaller ones to Paris, Texas, or you can fly a 767 to Paris, France. And I thought I'd like to go to Paris, France instead. The way we move up in airplanes is purely by seniority. A lot of people think, if you're a really good pilot, you can move up to another airplane. It's purely by seniority. When your number comes up, if you want to move to that next airplane, they give you the choice and you can either take it or not. Same with the seat on the airplane. You can either stay in the left seat when it's your turn, or you can take your captain slot. And they'll ask you over and over again. It's not a one and out deal. But that's the only way you move between airplanes on an airline. Luckily, those of us that grew up or learned to fly or whatever in the United States, the language of aviation is English. So it's really not that hard. The problem is when you get into some of these foreign countries like Asia or Germany where they have very thick accents, and sometimes it's hard to understand them. So you put your headset on, your co-pilot and yourself, you all listen and what did he say, what did she say, and before long you figure it out. But it's really not that hard, especially once you've done it 3 or 4 times, because then you can anticipate what they're going to say, and more often than not, it's the right thing. It's really hard to stay positive through failed check rides. Let me start out by saying everybody's nervous when they go into check rides, whether you've failed before or it's your first check ride. And you should be nervous because it's a new experience to you and you're putting your talent on the table, so to speak, or out to go fly in the airplane. And you have to prove it to that. Now, having said that, the standard is the standard. So once you go out there and you fly, just meet the standard. When it comes to failures, the thing I like to say is, people worry about failures when they go to take an interview. So the real thing to think about is when you walk into that interview, one of the things they're going to say, have you ever had a failure, whether it be on a check ride or a required, like an EOC, they call it here at the Part 141 schools. Don't lie about it. Tell them, yes, I've had a failure. And the next follow-up question was, what did you learn from that failure? And have that pre-planned, what you're going to tell them. I know people that have failed multiple check rides, have actually damaged airplanes, and are now captains of major airlines. But they owned what they did, and it was never life-threatening, any of the things they did. Failing a check ride is not life-threatening. So just own what you do and go in and say, okay, I failed, and this is why, and only say this is why when they actually ask you, what did you learn from it? And then have them a good response for that. That's easy. I got too old. They turned 65 and they said, okay, you're too old to work for the airlines anymore. But I did start working as a DPE before I left the airlines. And the reason that I did it was kind of like what I said earlier. I wanted to give back to the aviation field, give back to the young people that are coming up and kind of mentor them. And this is my way to do it, starting out as being a check pilot here at Thrust and helping out with some of the classes, and then realizing I could give back even more to the larger community by being a DPE. And I had done a lot of check rides in the commercial aviation, and it feeds over into here about how I give my check rides, and I think people kind of enjoy it. Okay, my tips to a new instructor is be humble. I think a lot of times we get a new rating, and I've fallen into this trap before, and all of a sudden we have a big chip on our shoulder, and that's the first thing that everybody notices is that this person who used to be a really fun guy to be around and all this, and all of a sudden he's this instructor and thinks he's better than he really is. So come in, be humble, help people, don't turn people down. If someone sends you an email or asks you a question, get them an answer, and instead of being that high ego, come in and be the person that everybody wants to find to get the answer from. And as we wrap this up, I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments and we'll either make more videos or maybe even get back to you. You never know.